Hey guys, Spencer here with Keystone Giant Pumpkins. This is the day 34 Giant Pumpkin update. This is a long form video, so in this video I'll give you a full walkthrough of the plant. Show you all angles of the pumpkin. I'll also show you everything I apply in this plant, all pesticides, fungicides, and fertilizers that I use to grow these pumpkins. First off, let's look at the stem side of the pumpkin. Let's start with the pumpkin. Stem's looking good. Nice thick stem. I really love the stem. It's a nice really long stem, so there's plenty of room here for the pumpkin to grow still. And the fruit itself is just beautiful color. This morning we taped in at 413 pounds, 18 pounds last night, and over the last 7 days we did 144 pounds, which is roughly 20.6 pounds per day average over those last 7 days, which is not bad, but I'm still hoping to get up into some better weights. Some of these leaves over here having some old age. They've been around for a while. Let me walk you guys around to the other side of the fruit. Step over here. All right, get off there, fly. Looking good. Let's walk over to the blossom end. Right there. It is a lot bowed over now. Oh, there's a little bug in there. Get out. Get out of there. Get out of there. Alright. Blossom end still bone dry. Good. It's bowed over a lot. Definitely. This side still looks really nice and young. It has those like veins to them, which means it still can grow quite a bit on that side. Still love the shape of this thing. And it has this nice like white striped line down there, similar to the Turner Ranch's pumpkin. I think it's going to look very similar to that one, judging on by the pretty deep orange already. This early, even when the skin still feels young. Alright, onto the plant. Here is this side of the plant. It's roughly 1,000 square feet. Might be a little bit more actually, just because I have it growing out over that way. It has a super long main vine on the pumpkin because I couldn't get pollination for a while, and the stump's way back over that way. So it goes all the way, at least 35 or maybe 40 feet to here. Under the fan, let's take a peek. Move the fan like that. Have the fan off so it's not annoying with the noise when I film. All this is plenty of room. It's a great angle on this. This is all nice and dry in here. This too. This is kind of like gnarly looking, but it's all dry. Same with over here. Dry. Nothing in there. It's good. The stem's still getting bigger. These cracks along it like that show the growth in the stem. That means that there's more nutrients being pushed over this way to the pumpkin, which is good. The more nutrients, the better. Leaf health, we have some powdery mildew, especially there are a couple leaves back there. There's some more bad ones that I just cut off because they're too far gone. But I've sprayed with some Daconel to hopefully take care of that. And then I also might do a milk spray that also can help fight against the powdery mildew. In here, we're looking pretty dry, the soil, and it's also compacted along here, just because this is where I step. But all through there, it's nice and loose soil. And this whole side of the plant here, there's a lot more water in the soil. I have to actually focus on spraying more water this way, just because I was watering before and it was nighttime, so I couldn't really see. And I just sprayed all over there. And then when I came out next morning, it's still dry here and I need to get some water here. So I'll come with the watering can so I can also put some nutrients down. I'll show you the fertilizers in a second. But yeah, leaf health, pretty good. A couple like this that there's no squash bugs under it. I sprayed for squash bugs and keep them away. But some have some squash vine borers in the leaves, and I'll just cut those off when they're too far gone. Leaf health is fairly good. There's a little bit of Uh, I don't know if that's a potassium deficiency. I'm more so suspecting uh, an potassium burn because I kind of dropped a little too much master blend around there when I was spreading it before a lot of rain. Same with these leaves. There's a lot of old age on these main vine leaves here, and these ones too close to it. But the newer leaves back there are looking good. I let some tertiaries go through here. I've cut them out where they grow from now. Excuse me. Just to get some more leaf coverage. But yeah, it's nice healthy leaf coverage here. I'm still leaving the main vine there, mostly open except here where there's still some. But main vine health is mostly good. Here's a spot. There's actually a vine borer that used to be in there. I managed to get him out, and now it's all dry and good. And here's the master blend fertilizer I used. This stuff's actually almost all gone now. I've used most of this 5-pound bag. Might be like a pound of it left. But I just leave this here so I can cover this up whenever I water. Same with this bag here and that spot. I just cover it up so no water can get in there and start up the mold again. You might notice a little bare. You might notice there's a little bare in there. There's a couple leaves that I had to cut off for some reasons. And there's also tomatoes growing all in there. There's also tomatoes. There's some tertiaries I have to take off actually. See these? These are just going to take energy from the plant because this will try to grow a whole new vine just as big as these ones are. And there's not enough room for them. So we just want to take those off where they grow from so they can't spread anymore. And sometimes I'll just cut the whole vine off if it's way too dense. But if I could use a couple more leaves, I'll just leave a couple to fill in. Walking over this way, looking good. Soil health is good. Here, let me just take a little bit of this. There's quite a bit of organic matter, and it's kind of a heavier clay soil. So I had to stop burying my vines about halfway through because of there's some issues, and I had to unbury the whole main vine because of that. But this main vine it's good. It's all solid. No issues for like this whole, about from here, pretty much the whole way to the stump. There's nothing. No issues so far. Here's a nice strong tertiary vine actually that I let grow, and I stopped over there just to get some more leaves in with unused space. These leaves it's kind of too dense in there. I've had to trim out a lot, but these leaves are nice and healthy. I mean, they're green. These are healthy leaves. Same with these ones. Walking in over this way, main vine health, just phenomenal. Over in here. Come over this way. What is this? What is that? This is there actually used to be a vine borer here, and then it grew out all weirdly and expanded like this. That weird growth. And then grew out some space to fill in here. All these leaves are connected to that actually. And let's get all the way here to the stump. Alright, we're at the stump. Whoa! Is the vine gone here? No. It's actually good. This is something that I did. Back before there was a big rot spot on the vine right in here, and I cut it sideways or horizontal like that. It's all bone dry in there. It's all good. It's great. Look in here, same kind of thing. That's all bone dry. This whole thing's good. Nice, good stump size actually. I have to do a little bit of weeding. There's not too many weeds. Sorry. Stump. It's good. It's a nice thick stump. Grab it like that. It's good. What's this? See that? That's the seed it came from. Seed's still there. This bottle, this was some calcium actually, and I still use this bottle to cover up the main vine here whenever I spray anything, so it doesn't get that wet and start it up again. But yeah, that's the stem health. Plant health overall, I'd give it like a maybe a 7 or 8 out of 10, just because there's quite a few leaves. Probably a 7 out of 10, because there's a lot of leaves that are healthy and look great like that. Look at that, that's all best you could ask for. And there's plenty of older leaves too like that are kind of out of shape, and some funky ones like that. What is that? That can happen sometimes in the heat. Coming back over this way. Yeah, there's definitely some thinned out leaves in here, and some that a lot that I had to trim out just because it got way too dense. I have a couple tertiaries that I've trimmed the growing tip off of, but I'm letting some leaves fill in just because why not? Could use it. Alright, walking back over this way. We're looking good. Coming back over here to the pumpkin. That's where I've kind of trained them out over that way. They're kind of losing steam just because the pumpkin's taking most of it. Nice, beautiful fruit. Here's this. This is another healthy spot. A lot of air in between. A lot of airflow in there. Minimal disease, looking good. And now on to what I'm feeding him. I showed you the master blend over there before, but this stuff I actually just got today. This is like all the micronutrients that I'll need. It has, let's see, magnesium, manganese, calcium, zinc, copper, boron, nickel, and iron. That's pretty much all the main micronutrients that you'll need. And this will I'll use this for some foliar feeding. And I'll also mix up some with the fertilizing that I do with the watering can, and then I'll water it in. But yeah, this stuff's great. If you want to get it, I think I found it somewhere on Amazon is where I got that. But that, I'll definitely use some of that today. Hopefully get some more growth when I'm watering. I'm walking over this way. I'll show you guys the garden too, actually. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video. Do a little garden tour. Here's a 1976 new. I still haven't gotten any pumpkins on this. I don't know what is up with the plant. I've given it tons of different fertilizers and stuff. Just can't get any pumpkins pollinated. But yeah, I've kind of just let it get a little weedy in there just because it's no fruit. What's this? This is 7 insecticide. This is what I'll spray on squash bugs, aphids, cucumber beetles. This stuff works great. I love it. This one's actually empty. I got to get some more, or maybe some like not diluted or ready to spray, so I can get more bang for my buck, so I don't spend too much money on ready to spray things. Coming over to the garden. What is that? It's a gourd coming way up in the peach tree, and it's trying to grow some gourds on there too. Peach tree itself, it's very nice and healthy, thick, getting taller. Let's come over here to the tomatoes here. Looking good. These are the Roma tomatoes. There's tons and tons of fruit forming on there, and there's some that are ready to pick soon. These are cherry tomatoes. Actually, I think these are Juliet variety. Just growing all through here. I gotta go through there and find any ripe tomatoes that I missed to pick. Just very healthy plants, vigorous, good growth. Here's an old sunflower that I'm just leaving there because it's good food for the birds. Here's some new sunflowers that haven't bloomed yet, but they're forming really good heads, and they look great. Coming over this way, more tomatoes in this bed. What is this? They've all fallen over. This was actually just because I didn't have stakes going down, and they can fall over if they don't have enough support. And then this actually looks like an overgrown mess of weeds, but what this actually is is sweet potato vines, which grow like crazy, and there's everywhere, which means probably get a ton of sweet potatoes in the fall. So I'm just letting these on the trellis go everywhere, all over the place. There's some going like way over here. There's some in the tomato beds. Because the more I let them sprawl, the more sweet potatoes I'll get. This bed, I'm almost completely done with weeding. I got to plant some, maybe some squash I can plant in there if I have time. And there's a lot of tomatoes growing in these beds too, just because I have tomato seedlings everywhere in my garden, because that's how it works. Here's a baby acorn squash on this acorn squash plant that came from that bed, actually. There's a ton of green beans in there. I'll tell you that I've been really successful with the green bean growing. I have to go back through there and trim a couple out. Here's this bed. This is a ton of tomatoes and onions too. I actually picked quite a few onions. They're not the largest onion, just because I was a little late to plant them. And this bed needs some more nutrients too. And I picked that'd be six or eight onions, and we had them with steak tonight, which is a good dinner. Always love steak. Anyway, yeah, this bed's good too. Coming over here, this bed that looks like the Saharan desert with dunes everywhere is actually potatoes. This I've dug through for potatoes, and I've gotten a ton of potatoes out of here. And this is like not even half the bed. There's all that still left of just straight potatoes in there. Not straight potatoes, but just a ton of potatoes, which is good. There's still some green on the potato plants. That's why I'm leaving them. Back there it's more died out, so I'll go through there soon. And this tree up here is actually called this wasn't planted. These are actually weed trees, but this is called an autumn olive. See, they have these fruits with the camera would focus. They have like speckles on them, and they're all up and down the East Coast and eastern U.S. as a weed tree. But you can actually eat the fruit on them when they're ripe. They have like a tart flavor with a little bit of sweetness and a pit in the middle. They're actually pretty good for making jam. Over here, we got the cucumbers. Cucumbers are looking good. There's some more die off on the leaves, which is to be expected. Those are really old leaves at the bottom and new growth at the top. Taking a look in the middle of the cucumbers. Got some cucumbers in there still. I've been harvesting tons and tons of cucumbers. I've had to have at least 15 pounds or more cucumbers out of there. Probably more, actually. Now that I think about it, and there's still many to come. I'll give them some fertilizer later. And this bed, there's quite a few herbs. This is all mint that's growing really tall. Oh, that smells really good, actually. Some strawberries. The mint has grown so tall that it's trying to fall over. And some peas that are not really liking the heat, so slowly dying out. But yeah, they're looking good. And that's over there. There's a ton of basil. This is some nice looking basil. Also smells great, of course. And that's just a bunch of herbs in there. This bed, you might wonder where this nice looking vine is. This is all the way from the pumpkin back there. And there's space here. Why not use it? I mean, I'll eventually cut it off when it's too far away from the pumpkin to be providing much of anything, which it might already be now, but it's not going to make too much of a difference. And here, sweet peppers, not sweet potatoes, silly me. These are actually really good looking. They're nice and tall. This has to be at least, yeah, it's almost at chest height. And if you come down, you got lots of sweet peppers, little baby sweet peppers in there maturing. I got I think there's about 15 in there, 15 plants. So I'm hoping to get a ton of sweet peppers out of there. Here's the kind of like squash and melon area. Over here, we have butternut squash, spaghetti squash, and cantaloupe and watermelon in here. There's some butternut squash that's maturing in there, and that's a weird shaped cantaloupe. Kind of looks like a cucumber, but that's just the other variety. And that's a different variety of cantaloupe in there, looking good, growing nicely. That's a watermelon. That's a sugar baby watermelon, is what that variety is. And there's just a ton of watermelons, cantaloupe, and different squash growing all throughout here. And I'm getting tons of harvests. Oh, look at this. This is a little tertiary right there. Don't want them growing because there's no reason for me to grow them straight up because they'll just crack off there. Here's the gourd on the peach tree. There's a gourd in there growing. Another one over there. I think those are gooseneck gourds. And I'm going to have to find a way to support them because I think those get pretty big. And I don't want them tearing down the peach tree because I value that peach tree more than a couple gourds. Anyway, yeah, that's the garden tour. And coming over this way, we go to the exit over here. And next I'm going to show you guys the shed where I keep all the fertilizers and what I feed my plants and what I spray on them. Alright. Just a nice little transition for you guys over this way. And here's the shed that I keep all the stuff in. Turn on the light. Come on, light. Turn on. There we go. Alright, got all of these bags of fertilizers and stuff. This is all different stuff I use for the garden too. First off, Daconel fungicide. I use this for powdery mildew. Works great. It is pretty nasty chemical though, so I always spray it with probably more protection than I need for spraying it, but I'd rather go a little overboard and be safe. Next up, Alaska fish fertilizer. I like to use this more in the beginning. When the plant's growing. This stuff is great. It's great. The plants love it, but it smells awful. Just a warning, if you want to try and use this and you live in like a residential area on like bushes or any plants, it will smell really bad if you put it on them. But yeah, it's a great source of nitrogen. Not so much potash or phosphorus. Next up, right here, Epsom salts. These are not the kind that you use in the bath. This is just straight up Epsom salt, no oils in there. And this is where I get all my magnesium and sulfur in there. Next up, let's take a look at the big bags. We got this blue one here is potassium chloride. And that, yes, that is the same as salt. This is what I use at the beginning of the season, actually. Oops, I just lost my microphone. Alright, and the light too. Excuse me. How did this get caught in here? Alright, I'm out of there, and I got the light back too. Potassium chloride, that's where I get my potassium. That's what I amend the soil with at the beginning of the season to get that. This green bag, that is urea fertilizer. That's where I add all my nitrogen. And that is 46% nitrogen, and that is 60% potassium. Light, come on. Come on, light. Turn back. This is annoying. Hey. Alright. This is a light again. Let me go a little faster. Oh, what was this one? This is where I get my phosphorus. That is, what is it? I think 40 something. Actually, no, it's, let me pick this one all the way up and show you guys. The other one's, yeah, 45% phosphorus. This is triple phosphate. And that's where that's what I amend the soil with for phosphate at the beginning of the season. Coming back over this way. This paper bag here, this is lime. That's where I get my calcium at the beginning of the season. That's where I'll actually, not just at the beginning of the season, sometimes I'll mix that in with some water and apply. Right here, you might wonder what I'm using that. Oh, come on. Come on, light. Don't fail me. You might wonder what I'm using alfalfa horse feed to feed the pumpkin. But this stuff's actually great if you put it in your soil. It's a great source of nitrogen. And it's not that expensive either, which is great. This Merit 0.5 granular, that is a synthetic pesticide that I actually need to apply still into the soil, and that will get sucked up by the plant, and any bug, any squash bug, any cucumber beetle, any squash vine borer that tries to eat that pumpkin or that plant will die with that. The plant will suck it up and it'll stay in it. And I forget the word for that, but yeah, it kills bugs like that, and that stuff's great too. Let me think. Don't think there's much else in here other than that. So let's go back over to. Actually, let's go up to the hose over there, and I'll show you one more insecticide that I use. Alright, we're at the hose now. This is where I get my water from. It comes from a well up at the house, and I run it down to the garden. But here in the shade is Spinazad. I love this stuff. This stuff's good against mites. Anything that will suck the, oh, that's kind of, can't really read that on the back. But mix this stuff 2 tablespoons per gallon of water, and it is great. Works great. You can even use it on just stuff you eat in the garden, but you'd want to do it at like a lower intensity than 2 tablespoons, so you don't have too much of it on the fruit. But yeah, here, let's get back. Let's actually go back down to the pumpkin over there, so I can say goodbye. Alright, at the pumpkin now. Looks good as always. And thank you guys so much for joining me and watching this video. This is a pretty long video, actually, just explaining everything. If you guys made it to the end, thank you first of all. If you appreciate this, my channel and my work, like and subscribe, and ask any questions you have in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. And yeah, that's the 34-day update on the giant pumpkin and tour of the garden, plus everything I give the plant. And that's it.